And let's turn to practice for today. We are framing each of the free drop-in practices that IJS is offering these days during the period of the Omer. That's the period of counting up the days from Passover to Shavuot, 7 weeks of 7 days. Each week of that period, 7-week period, is associated with a particular sphira. In Jewish mysticism, a sphira is considered an aspect or a facet or an emanation of the divine, a quality that is associated with divine. It can also be called a midah, a measure of that quality. And so each week our practices, the yoga, the text study, and the meditations are going to focus on the midah or the sphira of the week. And for this first week of Passover, that sphira is chesed, understood for us in this practice as loving connection. To make it a little bit more complicated, traditionally in Jewish mysticism, there's a nuance to each particular day of the counting. This is day 3 of the Omer. And so I'm going to share 2 things just to begin with, just to locate us on our journey where we are in this journey so far that will take us over most of the next 7 weeks. First is this little snippet. Some of you who have enrolled in Awareness in Action, our program in Mindfulness and Meditation, might recognize this. I'm just giving you a close-up of the first 3 of the Sphirot, these emanations of the divine. We're beginning here this week with Chesed, described, as I mentioned, as loving connection. That is an awareness of and an inclination to manifest the interrelatedness of all life on this planet that we are part of. That on some level we're all aware of that interconnectedness, interrelatedness, and we all have the choice whether to impede or to assist in that connection. So that's Chesed. The second of the 7, which corresponded to the second, which was introduced yesterday, and the second day of the Omer, is that Chesed, which is, let's call it our major for this week. That's our major practice. And then the other Sphirot become minors or augmenters of that. So yesterday, Rabbi Chassia Uriel Steinbauer introduced the idea of Gevura Shebechesed, Gevura, the Gevura of Chesed, Gevura representing literally strength, distinction, differentiation, setting boundaries, making judgments, strength. And the third, which as a sphira is Tiferet, which literally means splendor, but here we're associating with the midah of anava, of balanced self, is that Tiferet represents, in general, the concept of balance, integration, and alignment, because as we can see, it's right there along the midline of the human body that these qualities now are superimposed upon. So today, the third day of the Omer is Tiferet Shebechesed, or for our purposes, balance in Chesed. And going to now transition to the chart, which you may have received. It was in the introductory essay about the Omer from Rabbi Jonathan Slater that was sent out last week. You may want to print this out, or just may be helpful. So here we are in week 1 of Chesed. Day 1 of the Omer, which was Monday, was Chesed of Chesed. Yesterday was Gevura of Chesed. Today is Tiferet of Chesed. And as I mentioned, what that means is exercising balance in our practice or manifestation of Chesed. So what I want to invite us to do today is engage in a practice which, if you've been with us at some points over the course of our pandemic journey of meditation, sometimes it's known as a metta practice in Buddhist tradition. In our own tradition, I think we can think of it as a blessing practice. It's an opportunity for us to engage that quality of chesed within us by just bringing it up to the surface of our awareness and consciousness. And we can do that by using words, whether they're words that are expressed silently, or whether they're words that are expressed by whispering them to ourselves, or just words that we use to kind of create some order, some seder in our mind that allows these qualities to flow. So I want to invite us today to engage in this practice of chesed, basically just to sit for a good period of time in and float on the surface of the ocean of chesed, of interconnectivity. Just rest in the web of life, which we're always, in the words of Dr. King, we're always tangled in this web of mutuality. But we're going to let ourselves just rest in awareness of that net, of our interconnectedness. And I want to bring Tiferet or Anava into the mix by illustrating the different dimensions of chesed. That is, we're going to begin by manifesting or practicing or cultivating chesed towards ourselves, loving connection with ourselves. We're going to try to let go, recognize and let go of any judgments we have about ourselves, and essentially look only for the good in ourselves, and try to treat ourselves with an abundance. Abundance of caution has become a watchword of this period. We're going to treat ourselves with an abundance of chesed today. Be exceedingly gentle and kind to ourselves. That's in our own cell, shall we say, of this larger in this larger organism that we call life. We're in our own cell. We are cells in that larger organism. But like all cells, our walls, represented by Gevura, are semi-permeable. They're not hard and fast. They allow for transmission within and beyond us. So we'll begin by blessing ourselves with chesed, and I'm just going to suggest this formula. You can take it or leave it. It's one that I learned from my friend and teacher, Rabbi Sheila Peltz-Weinberg, and it's stayed with me and works for me. Where as we sit and breathe, maybe in conjunction with the inhalation and exhalation, we can offer these blessings. May I be blessed with chesed. You can use the Hebrew or you can use the English. May I be blessed with loving connection. May I be blessed with rachamim, with compassion. May I be blessed with simcha, with joy. May I be blessed with shalom, with wholeness and peace. And if it's comfortable for you to do so, you might, as you offer this blessing to yourself, place your hand over your heart or in your chest and just offer yourself in a physical sense that sense of kindness and connection. Connect to your own body, connect to your heart, connect to your own spirit just by placing your hand on your chest. We're going to sit in a moment with this. After we do that for a little bit, we'll transition to offering the blessing of chesed to the people that we know in our lives, the inner circle, friends, family, people we might feel kindly towards, benefactors, and then we'll switch to the second person. May you be blessed with, and we're going to take that through concentric circles of connection, and you may or may not wish to extend your own circle beyond your circle of beloved friends and trusted friends and family, to people that you may not experience a sense of direct relationship with, strangers on the street. And you might choose, or you may not choose, to extend it to people with whom you feel disconnected or have had a disturbing relationship. Or you might want to experiment with that. And then we'll end with the collective we. We, all of us, all beings, be blessed with chesed, with rachamim, simcha, and shalom. And so this gives us an opportunity to practice chesed by recognizing that we're all in this together and we're all in this web of life. But it is okay to differentiate and to notice those permeable or semi-permeable membranes that delineate and demarcate our own being and delineate and demarcate those who we recognize and know and trust and love, or who are closer to us, and also to recognize our connection with those who lie maybe a little bit at a greater distance than those people, or those people from whom we feel quite alienated because of perhaps how they have behaved towards us. But we are going to, on some level, include them as well when we get to the we. So I hope that's helpful. I'm going to keep keep this up on the screen just as a visual shiviti, as it were, as a kind of meditative um, object, subject of focus. But you can engage in this practice, and I'm going to guide us through it, and also leave space for us just to be in silence and practice this for ourselves on our own. So let's begin by just taking a few deep breaths, placing, if possible, the soles of your feet on the floor. You can engage in this practice as a walking meditation if you'd like. You can get up, and if you're able to hear the sound of my voice, you can just set out a little space for taking maybe, no more than 7, 8 steps, and then turn around. Just a space to perhaps use each footstep as a cue for one line of these blessings. Or you can turn away from the screen if you'd like, or you can use the words on the screen as a point of focus and concentration. You can look at the Hebrew, you can look at the transliteration, you can look at the shapes of the letters. Eyes open, eyes closed, as you wish. Just begin with a few deep breaths in. And maybe a hand over the heart space. Maybe a hand over the belly. And we're going to work with judgment here not by repressing judgment or by judging ourselves for having judgments or opinions, but by noticing judgments coming up and letting them float through our awareness like clouds in the sky. Let them float away. Just say, oh, judgment. Might be a judgment about our body. Might be a judgment about our breathing. Might be a judgment about ourselves. Might be a judgment about this practice. Might be a judgment about how I'm leading the practice. It's all fine. So we can begin by just offering ourselves the gift of chesed and exploring our capacity to receive it right into our bodies, right into our hearts, as if we're being infused with loving connection. Breathing in through the nostrils and breathing out through the mouth. And whispering or silently saying the words, may I be blessed with chesed. May I be blessed with rachamim. May I be blessed with simcha. May I be blessed with joy. May I be blessed with shalom, with wholeness, with peace. May I be blessed with chesed. May I be blessed with rachamim, with compassion. May I be blessed with simcha, joy. May I be blessed with shalom. Take a few minutes to engage in that practice of offering chesed to ourselves. You can even simplify this. Follow the inhalation by exhaling the word with which you're blessing yourselves. Chesed, rachamim, simcha, shalom. Love, compassion, joy, peace. We bring Tiferet, balance, into play, balancing the chesed for ourselves with chesed for those beyond ourselves. Maybe just choose one person who's near and dear to you and offer the same blessing to them. May you be blessed with chesed. May you be blessed with rachamim, with compassion. May you be blessed with simcha. May you be blessed with shalom, with peace, with wholeness. Take a few minutes to offer that blessing, to offer chesed to others. Imagining ourselves as channels of chesed out into the world, breathing it in and extending it out to others who we know and love. And now a few minutes for those we may not know, who lie outside that circle at a distance from us, but to whom we are still inextricably connected, interdependent, whose lives depend on us and upon whom we depend. A bus driver, a cashier, or someone you see on the street or at the dog run, and offer some chesed to them. Remember and experience the connection. May you be blessed with chesed. May you be blessed with rachamim, with compassion. May you be blessed with simcha, with joy. May you be blessed with shalom, with wholeness, with peace. Stay with us. Stay with the people to whom we're connected, but we do not know personally. Feeling the invisible thread of connection with every being on this planet. Maybe sending it to somebody on the other side of the earth, to a peasant or a farmer or an activist in Myanmar, or to a soldier. In parts of the world we may never visit, we may never see in this lifetime. Human beings just like us, in need of chesed. May you be blessed with chesed. May you know love. May you be blessed with rachamim, with compassion for yourself and for others. May you be blessed with simcha. May you know joy in your life. May you be blessed with shalom, with peace and wholeness. And we'll bring our practice to a close by now balancing our chesed for ourselves and for others, by recognizing all of these as one single entity connected in we. May we and all beings be blessed with chesed. May we and all beings be blessed with rachamim, with compassion. May we and all beings be blessed with simcha, with joy. And may we and all beings be blessed with shalom, with wholeness. May we know peace. May we know our connection to each other, to this planet. And when you're ready, I invite you, if your eyes have been closed, to begin to allow them to open. Come back together. Stay with the chesed for yourself and for each other. And we can practice chesed by being present for and supporting those of us who are in mourning. Of course, those of us who are praying for healing for loved ones and for this world. And so thanks to Adi for sharing the words of Kaddish on the screen. And you're invited, if you wish, those of you who are in mourning observing yahrzeit, to add the name or names of those you're honoring today in the chat box. And to rise, those of you who'd like to participate in Kaddish, to rise in body or in spirit and join me. Kadash Shemei Rabbah Amad Yisra Tirutei Yamlich Malchutei V'chayechon Yamechon V'chayei B'chutei Yisrael V'agalat Zman Kaviv V'hei Shemei Rabbah Barak Amen Barak Yishtabach Ha'ar V'yitamam
Itadar V'Lal Shabriku Leila Mikol Shakata V'Nekam
Miran Be'alma
Shlama Rabba V'Shamaya Chaim Alinu Ve'al Say Shalom B'Mrom Say Shalom Inu Ve'al Kol Israel Timru
Amen.
Friends, thanks for joining us as always today. I want to thank Adi Stein for handling our tech. A few announcements. Also, for those who may have missed it when we started, we have been live streaming these meditations to our Facebook page, and the recordings have been posted there, and the recordings will still be posted there. But as of today, we've begun live streaming meditations, as we will with the yoga on Monday and tech study with Jonathan Slater on Tuesday, to our YouTube channel. And so if for any reason you can't join us on Zoom, you're invited to join us live on YouTube. The videos will be there. They will also be posted on our Facebook page. But if you're looking to join live on a live basis for no reason you can't join by Zoom, you can always join us on YouTube. And the recordings will be posted there, so it'll be hopefully a little bit easier for people to find recordings of past sessions if you can't join us live. Just wanted to let you know that. Thank you so much, Susan Mirbach, for sponsoring today's practice, and wishing a refuah shlema, quick, speedy, full healing to your friend Garrett and to all who suffer from illness of any kind. And I'm happy to stay on to respond to any questions you might have, or to, you could like to share any reflections on your experience with this blessing practice today for Chesed. And I will be happy to try to respond to questions. So take a quick look, and let me see. Okay, just scrolling up to see. Thank you, folks, for the kind words. What does it mean to be blessed with X, to experience X, to be capable of X, for a blessing to be given with X? Thank you, Julie. Well, good questions. What does it mean to be blessed with Chesed, to experience Chesed, to be capable of Chesed, for a blessing to be given with Chesed? It's a great question. I can only speak for myself. I guess I would love to hear everybody's answers to those questions. For me, there's something about expressing that. Well, here's how I would put it, I guess. I understand these midot as, I tend to use this phrase, a pool of energy that's present at all times, that's sitting there. And it sits there, and I can experience it in an inclination or an impulse or a thought of, or recognition of connection. Say, just take chesed, for example. Like, for example, when I think about, strangers I don't know personally, but whom I see on the street or in my goings about of my day, there's something in me that recognizes that I'm connected to them, even though there's also a voice in my head that says, like, yeah, they have nothing to do with me. I have nothing to do with them. I'm not responsible for them. I don't have to worry about them. They're different. They're other. They look different. I don't have time for them. There's another voice, but both my instinct to say, oh, there's another person. I'm connected, and also whatever inner voice for me that is trying to talk me out of that connection, to me, is a manifestation of that pool of energy of chesed. I know I'm connected. I may not want to recognize it, or there might be a reason why I need to defend myself against that, because if I felt an extreme sense of connection to every person I met, I would be overwhelmed by the needs and wants of the world. I wouldn't be able to exist. I'd be over flooded with that responsibility. So I need to keep it a little bit at bay, but both the defense that keeps it at bay and my inclination to recognize it come from that sense of, oh, I'm connected. I know it. So when I put it into words in the phrase, or for me, when I hear somebody else saying the phrase, or I say the phrase to myself, whether it's in the form of, may I be blessed with, it's a little bit of a nurturing of that. It's a little bit of an encouragement of that energy. It's like it's like lowering a ladle or a dipper into that pool of energy in some way, and going with the flow, encouraging myself to stay with it instead of resist it, avoid it, deny it, pretend it's not there. And it helps a little bit. I mean, I know that just for myself, if I say, may I be blessed with chesed, and I put my hand on my chest or over my heart, something happens. I definitely feel different. I definitely am kinder, more, I can experience a sense of love towards myself that I might otherwise talk myself out of or push away in some way. Same with other people. It just reminds me. And it brings to awareness the connection, and it gives me permission to go with it in some way. So that's my response. 28 new messages. All right, let me see. Again, oh boy, let's see. Can you post the text? So yeah, Adi, can you post the link to the Dropbox? So you're welcome to use, or certainly there, I don't, as far as I know, there's no halacha here about what the right words are to use in a blessing practice. And there are many different forms. People learn all different forms. Well, I'm sharing that one because I know I learned it from my dear friend Sheila Peltz Weinberg, and that stuck with me. It works great for me as a walking meditation, where each step, you don't have to say the whole phrase. I'll just say chesed, as I put my foot down with each step, chesed, rachamim, simcha, shalom, chesed, rachamim, simcha, shalom. I'll say that I first did that at a place called Garrison Institute, which is an old converted monastery and now meditation center on the banks of the Hudson River, across the water from West Point in Garrison, New York, and walked with very long hallways, very long creaky wooden hallways, and there was a little creak each time I would put my foot down that I would associate with those qualities. So I always have this association with that. How do the Sfirot, Chesed Gevurah, correspond to the body on the drawings you show? Well, I would put that in the category of down in the weeds. There is a theory that in Jewish mysticism that each of these qualities or Sfirot correspond to different aspects of the body. And honestly, I won't claim to having expertise in that. And I don't worry about, I don't spend a lot of energy myself thinking about that. For me, it's enough to, when I see that chart, it's just a reminder of, oh, remember the body, Mark. Remember your body. These are not abstract concepts. They can be, and then they can be very complicated and intellectual. But for me, the value of the chart is just a reminder of, can I feel chesed in my body right now? Or each of these qualities. Can I feel a sense of connection? Can I feel a softness, a kindness, an openness, a lack of defensiveness? Can I experience a lack of judgment? This week of chesed is really quite an amazing gift, because it's an opportunity to say, like, you know what if I lived in a judgment-free zone for a little while? What if I just, as judgments came up, just set them aside and said, it's all good. This week is all good, just as it is. I can just love unconditionally, love myself unconditionally, love others unconditionally, and not look for the blemishes that I might otherwise my eyes might be drawn to. Let's see. How do we incorporate both the midot of chesed and tiferet, or for the rest of the week, chesed and midot, as contrast to doing chesed all week? Well, these meditations are, as I mentioned, are geared, Dan, to try to, if we think about it as a color, say we've got a glass jar that's full of chesed water. We're dropping into it today. Yesterday, we dropped in a few drops of gevura, of boundaries. So that introduced the idea of, limit, a little bit of idea of how to use strength to delimit or channel our chesed. So it's not diffuse, but to for example, chesed without gevura would be just like smothering somebody with love, and we all know what that can feel like. So gevura, setting a boundary around that and like saying, like, for example, like, all right, how can I help you in this particular way? Do one thing, not overwhelm you with my kindness. Another way, think about it in terms of connection. It could be, in connection, one of the ways you can practice chesed is actually by making connection with people, by making eye contact instead of looking away from them, right? But we all know, I think, how uncomfortable it can be to have somebody, that kind of intensity of connection with eye contact. And so Gevura, allows for, okay, that's enough, a little bit of limitation. And today, Tiferet, I was suggesting that we're, in terms of chesed, we have an opportunity to, we can sometimes practice chesed towards ourselves. We can sometimes practice chesed towards others. And Gevura enables us to make that distinction between, oh, now I'm practicing towards myself. Now I'm practicing towards others. But that brings up the question of, well, what's the right balance? How much do I practice towards myself, and how much do I practice towards others? How much do I practice it towards people I love versus people I don't even know? How much do I practice it towards people I don't like or really upset me? And what's the right balance there? So Tiferet just brings that into the equation of, how do I allocate it? And so what I actually liked about what we did today was ending up with the we, recognizing that it's one entity that we're part of. And so although we begin with balance, we wind up realizing it's all one pool. It's all connected. Let's see. Oh, what came to my mind was the victim and perpetrators of assault against Asians. Can you help? Can I help? Well, the rubber meets the road with these big challenges when we witness cruelty. witness incredible cruelty of human beings towards other human beings, how can we have chesed towards them? This has come up many times, in our conversations over the last year here, and like all of you, I find that deeply, deeply challenging, and I immediately go to gevura and to a judgment about that person. First of all, though, I could say that when that happens, I can feel a rush of chesed for the victim, for the person who is being perpetrated in some way. I can notice that chesed. That's where I go first. I want to have compassion and support for that person. Question about then, what do I do about the person who is inflicted, who is the perpetrator? In a week of chesed, I think the best I can do is recognize my connection with that being, and also focus on the part of me that is able to have some openness to the pain and suffering of that person that has led them to commit such a heinous act. Which does not mean I don't have a judgment about it, or anger, or rage, or desire for justice, or even vengeance about it. But I can have both. I can say, like, there must have been some incredible pain or wound or something, or ignorance or something that led to this. Or in the case of what happened in New York City yesterday, mental illness. Maybe it was not volitional, there's, I don't know. So chesed can help me reserve judgment and also maintain a sense of empathy, even while having intense judgment and reaction at the same time. So it serves that purpose. Helps me remember that this is a fellow human being too, and not make them other. I think that's, I said this in the awareness and action session yesterday, is that if all chesed does is remind me not to otherize or demonize another human being, dayenu, that's good enough for me. Because the essence of it is remembering the common humanity and the connection. When somebody does something horrible, I immediately want to disconnect and say, I'm not like that person. That person's something other than me. And history has taught us that most, if not all of us, are capable of doing things that we never dreamed we would do. And human beings do those things all the time. So, okay, I think we are at time. I see a lot of activity in the chat box. I'm going to go back and I'm going to save that and read that. By the way, just a reminder for those who would like to, you can click on the 3 dots in the chat box to save it if there's any, if people shared information or reflections you'd like to save. But we'll leave it for today. Tomorrow we'll be back, day 4 of the Omer. It's wonderful to share this journey with all of you, as always, but especially wonderful. So I want to wish you Moedim L'Simcha. We're on our way to the sea. I will see you tomorrow at this time, and hope you have a safe, healthy, and wonderful rest of your day. And may you be blessed with chesed, with rachamim, simcha, and shalom. Thanks to Adi, and thank you, Susan, for